Imagine you're in a spacecraft launching towards the great unknown, the space. How would you feel? Would you feel happy that you were fulfilling your dream if going to space were your dream? Would you feel angry? Would you feel worried because we could lose our lives at any moment once we're up there? Would you feel sadness because you wouldn't know when you're coming back if it's an unplanned mission? How would you feel in that time? As a girl who has been dreaming about going to space ever since I was a very little girl, I would imagine that I would feel happy most of the time. Maybe I would feel happy that I'm fulfilling my childhood dream, but at the same time, I would feel a pang of nostalgia for my home, for my room, for the people that I love. And who knows, maybe we'll find out if we actually go to space. But there are a lot of mixed emotions that we can feel when we go up to space, and it's not possible for all of us. Hello everyone, it's me Madhavi Vasal and welcome back to my channel. After a very long time, after approximately 11 months, I decided to do another book review. So this book has been gaining a lot of popularity these days, and it also won the Booker Prize of 2024. And the name of the book is, if you know it, you guessed it correct, Orbital, written by Samantha Harvey. So I found out about this book just after it received the Booker Prize. I was in the living room one day with my father and he was looking at YouTube to choose something to watch. And we came across one of a video that said that Orbital had won the Booker Prize 2024. We had also heard it in the news before and we wanted to know in detail about this book. So the moment we opened the video and I saw the cover of this book, as the moment I saw all these fuzzy little stars and galaxies and nebulae, and I saw our home planet Earth and the name Orbital, I knew that this book was related to space. And I was like, yeah, I need that book. I am going to buy that book. So in the next trip to the bookstore, I bought the book and I finished reading it the day before yesterday. And I am completely blown away by it. And disclaimer, if you're kind of a person that loves plot-heavy things, science fiction or action inside the books, then this book is not what you're looking for. I also love actions, thrillers, and science fictions, but this book is totally out of my comfort zone, totally out of the genres of the book I read, and it has honestly been a new start for me, and I think I'm going to read many more books like this because I really enjoyed reading it. So firstly, I would like to say that Orbital takes a different approach. It takes two totally different yet somewhat similar concepts, space and art and philosophy, and combines them together into this amazing book. Honestly, every line feels like it's so much more than we can understand. It's honestly like reading a very long poem that I really enjoy. Basically, we follow the story of 6 astronauts that are together on a spacecraft for a mission. The missions is nothing much, it's nothing that dangerous, it's just to collect some meteorological data and just conducting some experiments while they're orbiting, and they're orbiting our planet Earth. After the time that they exercise, get rid of their daily needs, and they experiment, they stare at the planet that they call home planet, that is the Earth. They stare at the planet that they were living in, that they were inside of a few months back. Mostly, all what they do is wonder. They imagine about how life was on the Earth. You see, space is made up of vacuum, so there isn't any wind, chilly wind or warm wind, or there isn't any kind of feeling that you would imagine on Earth. And this book takes the toll on missing the smallest and tiniest of things. As the astronauts are completing their missions while orbiting the Earth, they miss a lot of things. they miss the warm yet somewhat cool breeze that happens during summertime. They miss the warm cup of coffee. They miss walking around the earth and walking around their neighborhood park. They miss lying down in a firm bed, and they miss being held down by gravity. And that simply shows how ungrateful or how less grateful we are for all of the things that earth has provided us today. So as they miss their loved ones and their planet Earth, there's also the feeling that they are completing their childhood dream of going to space. So, as they are completing their dream, they are also missing out on a lot of things going on the Earth, and they feel sad but happy. This kind of conflicted emotions goes inside their minds, where they miss a lot of things, but they're also simultaneously happy because that's what they dreamed and they are there fulfilling the dreams. And each and every one of the astronauts says that if they were given a chance to return home without completing their mission, then they wouldn't have taken it, because that was their childhood dream. That was why they became astronauts, to go to space, to do research about stars and space and Earth. And so they said that they wouldn't take the opportunity to return back home before completing their mission. And at the same time, wanting to stay in space and not wanting to stay in space, wanting to go back, wanting to return home, wanting to return to Earth, they have this sort of a conflicted feelings going on in their mind. And it's amazing how each and every one of the 6 astronauts perceives these emotions and deals with it. Also, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but one of the astronauts' mother dies while she is completing her mission in space. So she couldn't attend the death ceremony of her mother, she couldn't attend the mother's funeral, and that kind of stuff makes somebody really sad. Like, imagine if you're out somewhere where it's impossible for you to return to your planet without a certain duration or without completing a certain thing. And at that duration, somebody you love, your loved one of your loved one dies. Imagine how you would feel. Awful, right? But still, that astronaut has to deal with those stuff. And as everybody is feeling sad but happy, they start talking about life in general, and it's basically very much of philosophical talks about what life is. I mean, the universe is so vast. Have you ever imagined? There are millions of galaxies like the Milky Way galaxies. There are billions of solar systems like our solar system, and we're only one planet out of the 7 planets in our solar system, and we are just living in some corner of all of the continents and all of the countries located all over the earth and all over the world. So that's what they wonder as well, what life is all about, how small they are. If the entire cosmic events that have occurred up till now are to be compacted together in one cosmic year, then our lives or the entire human existence would be less than a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a second. And that is just mind-blowing, how we think that we are living, we think that we are great, we are one of the superior species of all of the species on the earth. We fight over small things like who has a greater house or who has a greater car, who's richer, me or you. We fight over those stuff. But when we realize how small we are in the universe, and when we realize that our greatest achievement is nothing compared to what the universe is, then we really stop caring about all these materialistic things. Orbital has made me realize how grateful I should be for all of the things that are in my surrounding. The autumn breeze that makes you chilly to your bones, the warm summer sun in which all you want to do is go out and sunbathe, the warm cup of coffee that your parents or you yourself brew on a bad or good morning, the stress that you feel in examination, the walking and the feel of the earth's crust between your toes, gravity. It has made me realize how grateful I should be for everything, from the smallest of details of kindness in a people's heart to the largest of the most beautiful of sceneries that you see every day. When you start to take everything that life throws at you in a nice, positive way, then there are very few times in which you feel sadness. You feel happiness all the time, because you know that you have to know that you have to make sure that you struggle with all of those things that life throws at you in order to be successful, in order to contribute something so that you can make this world a better place. And at that point, when you realize things like that and when you start to be grateful, all those materialistic things and materialistic expectations that you have, like getting a bigger house or getting a bigger car, just disappears instantly. It vanishes from your mind when you realize there are greater things than completing one's personal needs, like helping others in need and making the world a better place in overall. So Orbital has made me realize a lot of things. This is a 5-star read. I would give this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and it's something out of my comfort zone, as I told you earlier. I love reading fiction, sci-fi, crime thriller, fantasy books, and I have a lot of the collections of these books, but this is a bit of a book leaning on the philosophical side. So maybe I'll start pursuing philosophy and philosophical books because I really enjoyed it. And I would recommend this book to anyone who wants to learn what life is about and what you should be grateful for. And it has ended on a very happy ending. So it's not a pessimistic book, it's an optimistic book. And I feel like after reading Orbital, some part inside me has changed. Some part inside me has started to feel a bit more gratitude and gratefulness for all of the things that are around me, because some external force, it could be anything, could take away everything you have in the next second. Just imagine what would happen if a meteor crashed through the earth right this second as I am speaking. You would lose everything you have, everything you did. If you have a big house, and if that's what you worked for your entire life, then it's going to be ruined in a fraction of a second. All of the people, all the loved ones near to you are going to die, and you yourself are going to die in the next second if that happens. And there is just no certainty in life. There is no, like, this will happen, and then this will happen, and then this will happen. Nothing is in serial order. Nothing is pointed out or listed out. Anything can happen in any second. So learn to be grateful to each and everything, and learn to be grateful with the things you have is, I guess, the best message that I can think of that Orbital gives. And it's also one of the key things to living a life. Orbital was a very enjoyable read, and I would recommend this book to anyone who loves a good philosophical fictional read. Thank you so much for sticking till the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. It really helps a lot. And comment below if there are some things that you would like to add on my speech. And you can also recommend me some books that I will probably read. So thank you very much for sticking till the end.